The stars stretched into white lines as the U.S. Harbinger came out of its jump. Captain Samuel Wright held his breath. This was humanity's first venture beyond their solar system, and no one knew what they might find. "Jump complete, Captain," said Navigation Officer Paul Harris. "We're at the coordinates." Sam nodded. At 42, he had gray streaks in his dark hair and lines around his eyes from years of squinting at screens. "Status report." "All systems normal," said Linda Peterson, his second in command. Linda was tall with short blonde hair and had served with Sam for 8 years. "No damage from the jump." "Good. Let's see what's out there." Sam looked at the main screen as it showed their surroundings. They had arrived near a small moon orbiting a gas giant. The ship's sensors picked up unusual energy readings. "Captain, I'm getting signals," said Eric Foster at the communication station. Eric was the youngest crew member at 26, with red hair and freckles. "Lots of signals. Different frequencies. They're not ours." The bridge went silent. Everyone looked at Sam. "Are you saying we're picking up alien communications?" Sam asked, keeping his voice calm. "Yes, sir. And they're coming from everywhere." Before Sam could respond, alarms blared. "Unknown ships approaching," called out Security Chief Greg Miller. "Many of them. Coming in fast." "Battle stations," Sam ordered. "Raise shields." The crew moved quickly as 5 sleek, silver ships appeared on their screens. They were unlike anything humans had built, smooth, with no visible engines or weapons, and they moved with impossible speed. "They're hailing us," Eric said. "Put it through," Sam ordered. The screen flickered, showing a being with blue-gray skin, 4 eyes, and tentacles where a mouth should be. It spoke, the tentacles moving, and somehow they understood. "Unauthorized vessel, you have violated Concordat space. Prepare to be destroyed." Sam stood up. "This is Captain Samuel Wright of the Earth ship U.S. Harbinger. We mean no harm. We didn't know this area was claimed." The alien's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Ignorance is no excuse. You will submit to scanning." Before Sam could answer, the Harbinger shook as energy beams hit their shields. "Shields holding at 70%, Greg reported. "Their weapons are powerful." "Evasive maneuvers," Sam ordered. "Don't return fire." Linda looked at him. "Captain, they're trying to kill us." "We don't want to start a war on humanity's first contact," Sam said. The ship rocked again. "Can we outrun them?" Paul worked his controls. "Maybe. Our jump drive needs 10 minutes to recharge." "Give me 10 minutes then," Sam said. The Harbinger dived toward the gas giant, using its gravity to gain speed. The alien ships followed, firing continuously. "Shields at 40%, Greg reported. "We can't take much more." "Message coming in," Eric said. "Audio only." A voice filled the bridge. "Primitive vessel, your technology shouldn't allow you to resist this long. What are you?" Sam nodded to Eric to open a channel. "We are humans from Earth. We're explorers, not warriors. Please stop attacking." There was a pause. Then, "Humans? Unknown species. Hold position for full scan." "Sir, should we?" Linda asked. Sam considered their options. Running might make things worse. "Comply. But keep the jump drive charging." The ship stopped as one of the alien vessels moved closer. "Scan complete," the alien voice said eventually. "You will accompany us to meet the Concordat Council." "And if we refuse?" Sam asked. "Then we will destroy you and find your homeworld ourselves." Sam looked at his crew. They were explorers caught in something much bigger than they'd expected. The galaxy wasn't empty as humans had thought. It was full of life and danger. "We accept your invitation," Sam said finally. "Lead the way." As the Harbinger followed the alien ships, Sam saw more vessels appearing. Dozens of them, all different shapes and sizes, but all with the same sleek, advanced look. "Sir," Linda whispered, "what have we gotten ourselves into?" Sam watched the armada growing around them. I don't know, but I think humanity just became a very small fish in a very big pond. The U.S. Harbinger, pride of Earth, suddenly seemed tiny and fragile against the backdrop of stars and alien ships. The Concordat station was massive. It hung in space like a metal spider, its long arms reaching out in all directions. The U.S. Harbinger looked tiny next to it as the alien escort guided them to a docking port. "I don't like this," Linda said as she stood beside Sam on the bridge. "We should have run when we had the chance." Sam shook his head. "And lead them back to Earth? No, we need to try diplomacy first." Dr. Olivia Martinez joined them. She was the ship's xenolinguist, a small woman with intense brown eyes and a quick mind. The computer has analyzed more of their communications. They call themselves the Concordat, a union of about 30 species that controls this sector of the galaxy. 30 species, Sam whispered. Humanity had just discovered they weren't alone. And now they learned the galaxy was full of intelligent life. "Captain, we've been cleared to dock," Paul reported. "They want you to bring a small team to meet their council." Sam nodded. "Linda, you stay here and keep the ship ready. Olivia, you're with me. Greg and Eric, too." As they prepared to leave, Linda grabbed Sam's arm. "If things go bad, we'll come get you." Sam smiled. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." The 4 humans walked through the docking tube into the alien station. They were met by tall, thin aliens with 4 arms and skin like polished metal. "I am Vren," one said. "Security chief. Follow me to the council." They walked through curved hallways filled with aliens of different shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Sam couldn't tell which parts were heads and which were bodies. They entered a large round room. 7 aliens sat at a high table. In the center was a blue-skinned being with 4 eyes, the same species that had first contacted them. "I am High Admiral Zextal," the alien said. "You have entered Concordat space without permission. Explain yourselves." Sam stepped forward. "We are explorers from Earth. This is our first journey beyond our own solar system. We didn't know this area was claimed." The aliens whispered among themselves. "Show us your world," Zextal demanded. Olivia gave Sam a warning look, but he decided honesty was best. He showed them Earth's location on a star map and explained their level of technology. "Interesting," Zextal said. "Your species advanced from primitive to spacefaring in only a few hundred years." "Yes," Sam said proudly. "We've made great progress, especially in the last century." The council members looked at each other. Their expressions were hard to read, but Sam sensed something was wrong. "Scan their ship," Zextal ordered. Alarms suddenly blared through the station. "Sir," Eric whispered, checking his handheld device. "They're scanning the Harbinger." "Deep scans." Before Sam could protest, Zextal stood up. "Humans, your technology contains elements that violate Concordat law. Your neural interface systems, quantum computing, and jump drive designs are all forbidden." "Forbidden?" Sam asked, confused. "Why?" "All species must develop according to Concordat guidelines," Zextal explained coldly. "Your rapid advancement and these technologies mark you as a destabilizing force. The Council hereby orders the sterilization of your homeworld." Sam felt the blood drain from his face. "Sterilization. Complete removal of all life," Zextal clarified. "Guards, detain them." Alien guards moved toward the humans. Greg pushed Sam toward the door. "Run." Chaos erupted. Greg tackled 2 guards while Olivia and Sam backed toward the exit. Eric was already through the door, calling the Harbinger on his communicator. "Linda, they're going to attack Earth. Get the ship ready," Eric shouted. Guards grabbed Sam and Olivia. Greg was pinned to the floor. "Go," Sam yelled to Eric. "Warn Earth." Eric hesitated, then ran. Alarms wailed throughout the station as Sam, Olivia, and Greg were held firmly by the guards. Zextal approached Sam. "Your ship will not escape. and your world will not survive. Sam struggled against his captors. Why? We've done nothing to you. It's not what you've done, Zextal said. It's what you might do. Species that advance too quickly always bring chaos. The Concordat maintains order by preventing such advancement. Through a window, Sam saw the Harbinger disconnecting from the dock, alien ships already moving to intercept it. Earth knows nothing about you, Sam pleaded. They're innocent. No world with your technology is innocent, Zextal replied. The Annihilation Fleet is already being assembled. The U.S. Harbinger shook as another alien weapon hit its shields. Eric held onto his console as Linda guided the ship away from the Concordat station. Shields at 30%, Paul called out. We can't take much more of this. Linda gritted her teeth. Prepare for jump. We need to get back to Earth. But Captain Wright and the others. Eric started. We can't help them if we're dead. Linda cut him off. We need to warn Earth about what's coming. The Harbinger twisted away from two pursuing ships and jumped to safety, the stars blurring as they entered faster than light travel. The bridge crew let out a collective breath. Jump successful, Paul said. We've lost them for now. Linda turned to Eric. What exactly did they say? Eric's hand shook as he recalled the council meeting. They're going to destroy Earth. They said our technology is forbidden, that we've advanced too quickly. How long until we reach Earth? Linda asked Paul. Paul checked his instruments and his face fell. At our maximum speed, 3 weeks. And how long until their fleet reaches Earth? Paul hesitated. Based on what we saw of their ships, 5 days, maybe 6. The bridge went silent. Their mission of exploration had turned into a nightmare. They had accidentally doomed their entire planet. There has to be something we can do, Eric said, his voice breaking. Some way to warn them. Linda looked at the ship's systems. Our communication array can't reach that far. What if we boost it? Eric suggested. Use more power. The ship's engineer, Heather Young, shook her head. The array wasn't designed for that. It would overload. But what if we let it overload? Eric asked. Just long enough to send one message. Linda considered this. Would it work? Heather bit her lip. Maybe. But it would drain our power core. We'd lose engine capabilities. We'd be stranded. Better stranded than responsible for Earth's destruction, Linda decided. Do it. While the Harbinger crew worked on boosting their communications, back at the Concordat station, Sam, Olivia, and Greg were taken to separate cells. Sam's cell was small and bare, with only a bench to sit on. The force field at the entrance hummed softly. Hours passed before the field disappeared, and Zextal entered. The alien admiral studied Sam with all 4 eyes. Your ship escaped, Zextal said. Impressive. But it changes nothing. The Annihilation Fleet has already departed. Sam stood up. Why do this? We've never threatened you. You don't understand. It's not personal. Zextal paced the small cell. Long ago, species were allowed to develop freely. It led to wars that nearly destroyed the galaxy. The Concordat was formed to prevent this from happening again. By killing anyone who develops too quickly. By maintaining order, Zextal corrected. Your kind is especially dangerous. Our scans show your neural patterns are unique, evolved to interface with technology in ways other species cannot. Sam remembered the neural interfaces used in Earth's advanced computers. That's why we've advanced so quickly. Yes, and it makes you unpredictable. A threat to galactic stability. On the Harbinger, the crew had modified the communication array, connecting it directly to the power core. This will burn out our engines, Heather warned. We'll have life support and basic systems, but we'll be dead in space. Linda nodded. Send the message. Eric typed quickly, explaining the Concordat, their intentions for Earth, and everything they had learned about the alien coalition. He added the sensor data they had collected on the alien ships, hoping it would help Earth prepare. Message ready, he said. Send it, Linda ordered. Eric pressed the button. The ship's lights dimmed as power surged to the communication array. The message beamed toward Earth, a desperate warning traveling faster than light. Then the power core went dark. Backup systems came online, providing dim lighting. Message sent, Eric confirmed. But engines are offline. We're stranded. Linda looked at the star map showing their position. They were far from any known system, with limited supplies. Did the message reach Earth? She asked. We won't know, Paul said quietly. Not until someone comes for us. If someone comes for us, he didn't add. They all heard it anyway. Admiral Diane Powell stared at the message playing on the main screen of Earth Defense Command. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and deep lines formed around her mouth as she frowned. Play it again, she ordered. The face of Eric Foster appeared once more, his message broken by static, but clear enough to understand. Alien coalition called the Concordat. Destroying worlds that develop too quickly. Fleet heading to Earth. Arrival in 5 days. No mercy. Diane turned to the room full of military and government officials. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill or a hoax. We have confirmation from our deep space monitoring stations. There is a large fleet of unknown vessels heading toward Earth at speeds we can barely track. A man in a business suit stood up. How do we know this isn't some kind of mistake? The Harbinger's data package included sensor readings of the alien fleet. Diane replied. Our scientists have confirmed they're using technology far beyond our own. We have 5 days, maybe 6, before they arrive. The room erupted in panicked discussions. Diane let it continue for 30 seconds before slamming her hand on the table. Enough. We don't have time for panic. I'm implementing Protocol Omega. The room went silent. Protocol Omega was a theoretical plan developed during the Cold War for extinction-level threats. It had never been activated. General Matthews, contact every nation on Earth. We need full cooperation. Dr. Ramsey, get your team to the Nevada facility immediately. It's time to bring out Project Defiant. Within hours, the world's greatest minds were gathered in a massive underground facility in the Nevada desert. Dr. Alan Ramsey led Diane through sliding doors into a giant chamber. Inside was the skeleton of a ship unlike anything built before. This is the U.S. Defiant, Alan explained. We've been developing the theory for years, but we never had the funding to build it. Diane looked at the half-finished ship. Can it be completed in 5 days? Normally, it would take years, Alan said. But with the whole world working together and using the Concordat data from the Harbinger, maybe. What makes this ship special? Diane asked. 3 things, Alan replied, pointing to different parts of the ship. First, a shield system that works by phase-shifting matter, making it partially exist in another dimension. Second, weapons that harness dark energy, which should bypass any known shield technology. And third, an engine that can manipulate space-time, allowing for speeds no human ship has ever achieved. Will it work? Alan's face was grim. Honestly, it might destroy itself on launch. These technologies were all considered too experimental, too dangerous for practical use. But we have no choice, Diane finished for him. Around the world, manufacturing facilities worked nonstop. Military bases emptied as soldiers were reassigned to assist with the Defiant project. Television and radio stations broadcast a simplified version of the truth. An alien threat was coming, and Earth was preparing to defend itself. In space, Sam was moved to a new cell on Zextal's flagship. Through his small window, he could see thousands of ships gathering. The fleet will reach your world soon, Zextal said, entering the cell. Your species will be remembered in our archives, briefly. You're making a mistake, Sam said. Humans don't give up easily. Many species say that before their extinction, Zextal replied. None have ever stopped the Annihilation Fleet. Back on Earth, the U.S. Defiant took shape as parts were rushed in from around the globe. Workers took stimulants to stay awake for days at a time. Scientists made breakthroughs in hours that would normally take years. As the deadline approached, Diane stood before the completed ship. It was ugly by conventional standards. A dark, angular shape with none of the sleekness of regular spacecraft. It looked like what it was, a weapon built in desperate times. "Is it ready?" she asked Alan. "As ready as it can be," he replied. "The neural interface is online. It's waiting for you." Diane took a deep breath. As the highest-ranking officer with neural compatibility, she would command the Defiant. "Then let's go meet our visitors," she said, walking up the ramp into humanity's last hope. Sam sat in his cell, thinking about Earth and the coming attack. He had been moved to a larger room with Olivia and Greg. They were being treated better now, almost like guests instead of prisoners. "Why the change?" Sam asked when Zextal visited them. "You're no longer a threat, just witnesses to history," the alien admiral replied. "Besides, I find your species fascinating. So much potential. Wasted." Olivia had been studying the control panel near the door for days. She noticed something unusual about it. "Sam," she whispered when Zextal left. "I think I can hack this." "How?" Sam asked. "The panel responds to neural inputs," she explained. "Remember what Zextal said about our unique neural patterns? I think their systems aren't designed to block human brain waves." Greg moved closer. "You think you can open the door?" "I think I can do more than that," Olivia said. "If I can access their systems, we might find a way to escape, maybe even help Earth somehow." That night, while Greg created a distraction by pretending to be sick, Olivia placed her hand on the control panel and closed her eyes. Sam watched in amazement as the alien symbols on the screen began to change. "It's working," she whispered. "The system recognizes me as a user but can't properly identify my access level. I'm in a sort of gray area." "Can you open the door?" Sam asked. "Yes, but we need a plan first." Olivia kept working on the panel. "There's something else. I can access some of their data." "Sam, the Concordat is afraid of us, because no other species has our ability to interface with technology. They think we'll eventually develop true AI, or some kind of hybrid consciousness that could threaten their control." "Can you find the Harbinger?" Sam asked. "Or any information about Earth?" Olivia worked for several more minutes. "The Harbinger is stranded in Sector 7. Life support is functioning, but they're not moving. And—" her face paled. "The Annihilation Fleet is almost at Earth. We need to help somehow," Greg said. "There's a hangar 2 levels down with scout ships," Olivia said. "I think I can unlock a path to it and disable the alarms." "Then let's go," Sam decided. Using Olivia's access to the ship's systems, they made their way through the corridors, hiding whenever alien crew members passed by. They reached the hangar and found it mostly empty. "Everyone must be preparing for the attack on Earth," Greg guessed. They boarded a small scout ship. Olivia placed her hands on the controls and closed her eyes again. "This is harder," she said. "The ship's systems are more complex. But I think, yes, I've got it." The ship hummed to life. Sam took the pilot's seat while Greg watched the hangar entrance. "Anyone know how to fly an alien spacecraft?" Greg asked. "Let's find out," Sam said as he pressed what he hoped were the right controls. The ship rose shakily and turned toward the hangar doors. An alarm started blaring. "They've noticed us," Greg warned. "Olivia, can you open the doors?" Sam asked. Olivia placed her hand on another panel. Working on it. The hangar doors began to slide open. Sam pushed the ship forward just as armed aliens rushed into the hangar behind them. "We're clear," Sam shouted as they burst into open space. Setting course for the Harbinger's last known location, Olivia said, working the navigation system. The small scout ship accelerated away from the Concordat flagship. Behind them, several pursuit vessels launched. "Can this thing outrun them?" Greg asked. I don't think so, Sam admitted. But we have a head start, and Olivia's connection to their systems might give us an advantage. As they fled, Olivia continued accessing the ship's database. Sam, I found something about Earth's response. The Concordat is detecting unusual energy readings from our solar system. They're confused. What does it mean? Sam asked. I think, Olivia said slowly, Earth is fighting back. Sam felt a surge of hope. Maybe humanity wasn't doomed after all. Now they just needed to reach the Harbinger and find a way to help in the coming battle. Hold on, Sam told his friends as he pushed the stolen ship to its limits. We're going home. High Admiral Zextal stood on the bridge of his flagship as it entered the human solar system. Thousands of Concordat ships followed behind, the largest fleet gathered in centuries. He felt no joy in this mission, only grim determination. Another dangerous species would be removed for the good of galactic stability. High Admiral, we're approaching the target system, his second-in-command reported. Scans showed 9 planets, with the third one being the human homeworld. Proceed with caution, Zextal ordered. The humans may have primitive defenses. The fleet spread out as they passed the outer planets of the solar system. Zextal frowned as the sensor readings came in. There are no ships detected, he said. No space stations, no defenses. Perhaps they abandoned their world. An officer suggested. Unlikely. The warning wouldn't have reached them in time to evacuate an entire planet. Zextal studied the readings more carefully. Something isn't right. There should be some sign of resistance. The fleet continued forward cautiously, passing the giant planets. As they approached Mars, the red planet showed no signs of the human colonies the prisoners had mentioned. Full scan of the Earth, Zextal ordered. The results came back moments later. No life signs detected, High Admiral. No technology signals either. Impossible, Zextal muttered. A planet with billions of beings doesn't just empty overnight. Could their warning system have malfunctioned? His second asked. Perhaps we're in the wrong system. No. The coordinates match their records. Zextal's 4 eyes narrowed. This is a trap. Spread the fleet out. Search every planet, every moon. The Concordat ships dispersed throughout the solar system, scanning for any sign of the humans. Hours passed with no results. High Admiral, a sensor officer called out. I'm detecting an unusual energy signature behind a large gas planet they call Jupiter. What kind of signature? Zextal demanded. Unknown. It's fluctuating. Almost as if something is hiding in the planet's magnetic field. Send a scout ship to investigate, Zextal ordered. A small Concordat vessel broke from the fleet and headed toward Jupiter. As it approached the massive gas giant, the ship suddenly lost contact. What happened? Zextal demanded. Unknown, sir. The scout simply disappeared. Zextal felt a chill run through his body. In thousands of years of Concordat history, no species had ever managed to destroy one of their ships so completely that not even debris remained. All ships, battle formation, he commanded. Whatever is hiding there, we will. Before he could finish, a massive object emerged from behind Jupiter. It was unlike any ship Zextal had ever seen. Where Concordat vessels were elegant and smooth, this human ship was dark and angular, with sharp edges that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. What is that? His second whispered. The human ship was huge, dwarfing even Zextal's flagship. It moved with impossible speed for its size, covering the distance between Jupiter and the Concordat fleet in minutes. Open communication channels, Zextal ordered, trying to keep his voice steady. Before they could establish contact, the human ship fired. A beam of dark energy lanced out, striking one of the Concordat cruisers. Instead of exploding, the cruiser simply came apart, its molecules separating as if the very forces holding matter together had been canceled. By the void, Zextal whispered. What kind of weapon is that? 3 more Concordat ships were destroyed before they could even return fire. The human vessel moved through the fleet like a predator, its weapons cutting through the Concordat's best shields as if they weren't there. The communication officer turned to Zextal with fear in his eyes. "High Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel." The main screen lit up, showing a human female with gray hair and cold eyes. Behind her was what appeared to be the bridge of the ship. "This is Admiral Diane Powell of the Earth Defense Force," she said, her voice calm and measured. "You came to destroy us. You found instead that humans don't die easily." Zextal stood straighter. "This is High Admiral Zextal of the Concordat. Your resistance is impressive but futile. You faced the combined might of 30 species." Admiral Powell smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Let me show you exactly what you're facing." Sam, Olivia, and Greg finally reached the stranded Harbinger after evading Concordat pursuit ships. When they docked with the Earth vessel, the crew greeted them with shock and joy. "Captain," Linda exclaimed as Sam stepped through the airlock, "we thought you were captured." "We were," Sam said, "but we escaped. And we brought help." He gestured to the Concordat scout ship they had stolen. Eric rushed forward. "Did our message reach Earth? Is help coming?" "We think so," Olivia said. "According to Concordat communications, Earth is fighting back. They've built some kind of warship." The crew gathered in the Harbinger's bridge to share information. Heather explained how they had sacrificed their engines to send the warning message to Earth. "We've been drifting here for days," she said. "Life support is stable, but we have no way to get home." "Now we do," Sam said, pointing to the scout ship. "It's small, but it has advanced engines. We might be able to combine its technology with the Harbinger systems." "It would be dangerous," Heather warned. "We'd be mixing two completely different technologies." "We have to try," Sam insisted. "Earth needs all the help it can get." Meanwhile, in Earth's solar system, the battle between the U.S. Defiant and the Concordat fleet continued. The Defiant moved with impossible speed, its dark hull seeming to absorb both light and enemy fire. Inside the ship, Admiral Powell sat in the command chair, her mind directly linked to the Defiant's systems through neural interfaces. She felt the ship as if it were her own body, reacting to threats instantly. "Status report," she said to her crew. "Shields holding at 90%, reported her weapons officer. "Dark energy weapons operating at full capacity. We've destroyed 37 enemy vessels with no damage to our systems. Their tactics are changing," observed the tactical officer. "They're pulling back, regrouping." On his flagship, Zextal watched in horror as the human ship tore through his fleet. Nothing like this had happened in the 1,000-year history of the Concordat. Their shields and weapons had always been superior to any species they encountered. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his science officer. "They were a primitive species just beginning space travel." "The human neural patterns," the science officer suggested. "They must have integrated their minds directly with their ship, allowing reactions and calculations far faster than our systems." "We need reinforcements," Zextal decided. "Send the emergency signal to all Concordat forces in the sector." As the battle paused with both sides regrouping, the stolen scout ship carrying the combined crews of the Harbinger approached the edge of the solar system. "What is that?" Linda gasped as they got their first look at the Defiant. "I've never seen anything like it," Sam said, staring at the massive black ship. Its angular design made it look like a piece of darkness cut into the shape of a vessel. "It doesn't look like anything humans would build," Greg noted. "Maybe we've changed," Olivia suggested. "Faced with extinction, who knows what we might create." Sam opened a communication channel. "U.S. Defiant, this is Captain Samuel Wright of the U.S. Harbinger. Do you copy?" There was a long pause before a response came. "Captain Wright, we thought you were lost." Admiral Powell's voice came through clearly. "Your warning saved us, Captain. Welcome home." "What is that ship?" Sam asked. "How did we build something like that so quickly?" "Protocol Omega," Powell replied. "A last resort plan using experimental technologies we never thought we'd actually implement. The Defiant is the result, a warship capable of facing the Concordat fleet. Admiral, we have incoming Concordat vessels, her tactical officer interrupted. A lot of them. On the main viewer, hundreds of new ships appeared, emerging from faster-than-light travel. Then thousands. The reinforcements Zextal had called for had arrived. The entire might of the Concordat Navy. There's so many of them, Linda whispered. Sam looked at the overwhelming force gathering against Earth's lone defender. Can the Defiant fight them all? Admiral Powell's voice was grim. We're about to find out. The space around Earth filled with thousands of Concordat ships. They surrounded the U.S., defiant like a swarm of angry insects. On their stolen scout ship, Sam and his crew watched in horror. There must be 10,000 ships out there, Greg whispered. More, Olivia corrected. The Concordat has called every available vessel from across their territory. Admiral Powell's voice came through their communication system. Captain Wright, dock with the Defiant immediately. We could use your expertise. The scout ship approached the massive black warship, looking tiny beside it. Once they were aboard, Sam and his crew were escorted to the bridge. Admiral Powell sat in a special chair at the center, connected to the ship by glowing cables that linked directly to her neural implants. Captain, she greeted Sam without opening her eyes. Your first-hand knowledge of the Concordat could be valuable. Admiral, how are you controlling this ship? Sam asked, amazed. Neural interface. The Defiant responds to thought. But even with our advanced weapons, we can't defeat this many ships. Olivia stepped forward. Admiral, during our escape we discovered something important. Human neural patterns can interface with Concordat systems. Their technology isn't designed to block our thought patterns. Powell's eyes opened. Are you suggesting? If we can broadcast a signal that mimics our neural patterns, Olivia explained, we might be able to disrupt their fleet communications, maybe even their weapons systems. It's worth trying, Powell decided. Our weapons team will help you set it up. On the Concordat flagship, Zextal prepared for the final attack. All ships target the human vessel. Fire on my command. Before he could give the order, the main screen activated. Admiral Powell appeared, her face calm despite the overwhelming odds against her. Hi, Admiral Zextal, she said. Before you attack, I want to show you something. Zextal hesitated. What trick is this? No trick, just a demonstration. On screen, the Defiant turned away from the Concordat fleet and aimed its main weapon at one of Jupiter's small, uninhabited moons. A beam of dark energy shot out, striking the moon. In seconds, the entire moon broke apart, its matter dispersing into space. That was one of our smaller weapons, Powell said. Now you have a choice. Fight and watch as we do the same to your ships or talk. Zextal felt fear for the first time in centuries. You would destroy us all. If necessary, Powell replied. But unlike you, we don't destroy civilizations because they might become a threat someday. We're offering peace. Peace? After we try to destroy your world. Yes, not because we're weak, but because we're strong enough to have mercy. Zextal considered his options. Even with thousands of ships, the human vessel's power was unlike anything the Concordat had faced. What terms do you offer? He asked finally. First, the Concordat will end its policy of limiting technological advancement, Powell said. Each species should be free to develop at its own pace. That would bring chaos to the galaxy, or it might bring progress. Second, Earth will share its technology with peaceful species. And third, we'll establish a new alliance based on cooperation, not control. As they negotiated, Olivia and the Defiance team completed their neural disruptor. It's ready, she told Sam. Hold for now, Sam said. Let's see if diplomacy works first. After hours of tense discussion, Zextal reluctantly agreed to Powell's terms. Most of the Concordat fleet would withdraw, leaving only diplomatic vessels. The news spread quickly through the galaxy. The Concordat, which had ruled for 1,000 years, had been forced to retreat by a single human warship. 1 month later, Sam stood beside Admiral Powell as representatives from 20 alien species gathered on the Defiant. They were signing a new treaty, forming the Galactic Alliance. "I never thought we'd end up here when we first left Earth," Sam said. "The universe is full of surprises," Powell replied. "They came expecting us to run from their ultimate warship. Instead, they ran from ours." As Sam looked around at the diverse alien faces, he realized humanity had found its place in the galaxy not through conquest, but by standing firm when others would have fled. "What happens now?" asked Olivia. Sam smiled. "Now the real journey begins."